Okay, I'm back with a new video and I'm here to give you 7 reasons why you should pick up and read Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I finished this book last night and I've gotten so excited and so affected by it. I really want to convince as many people as possible to pick it up and get lost in this beautiful story. Okay, so the first reason I'll give you is the premise of the story. So in the main city of this world, it is ruled by gods, and the gods are worshipped by these people, and they are also the leaders of society. In our other location, we have the original royal family, a father and his children. There's been an agreement between the main city with the gods and the original royal family that the eldest daughter will be sent to the god king and they will marry and produce an heir. The idea is that, okay, we're gonna have blood from both sides and, you know, things will be fine from now on. Very early on into the book, the father of these royal daughters basically loves the one that has been trained to be marrying the god king way too much and says, you know what, actually I'm not going to send her, I'm going to send my inexperienced daughter to go and marry this god king. He knows that it's a very precarious situation to put his daughter in, but he straight up admits to you, yeah, but I love my other one more, and sometimes decisions can be difficult like that as a father. From that point, I was like, all right, let's see how this other daughter copes with this incredibly precarious situation. That's the general gist of the story in Warbreaker. One 17-year-old girl getting whisked away and betrothed, whilst the other, who has been trained for her entire life for this moment, does not fulfill this goal that's been drilled into her brain. Okay, reason number 2 why you should read Warbreaker. Do you read to get lost in another world, but sometimes think, wow, I'm really enjoying this world, but I don't think I'd want to live there. I don't even think I'd want to visit, to be honest. I'd be happy just watching from a distance this incredible story take place. That's how I felt about Game of Thrones. I don't want to be in this world because very likely I'm going to get killed, I'm going to die of some disease, something's going to go wrong. Even though things definitely do go wrong in this book, man, the main location of this book feels like a holiday destination that I would never want to leave. The main city of Talir, I'm probably saying that wrong. This main location is like, in my mind, it's like the love child of the city of El Dorado, mixed with a bit of like ancient Greece, mixed with like a Mediterranean seaside city. My god, the images I get from reading the scenes that take place in this main location just make me want to be there so much. The sights, the sounds, how vibrant and incredible and tropical this world is. It's such a cool location for a fantasy. Maybe I haven't read extensively enough at this point in fantasy, but it feels like the tropical aspect hasn't been fully realized so well. And man, I'm probably showing incredible ignorance right now, but man, I just felt like I was on holiday. And that's the reason why you should read this book, because you feel like you're just chilling in some beautiful, awesome location. So I've given you the premise, I've told you about the area you'll be visiting, this beautiful world. I should probably tell you about the magic system. The magic system in this world is so unique and so cool. The general gist of the magic system in Warbreaker is that people have breaths. A person like you or I will have one breath and we experience life quite normally. Although I've started to realize through reading this book, we're missing out on quite a lot through various processes and things that I won't get real into because you don't need this right now. You can acquire more breaths. The more breaths you acquire, the higher your kind of sensory experiences, the higher awareness you are of colors, and colors around you are actually kind of, I wouldn't say saturated, but just made more intense. Everything revolves around color and breaths in this magic system. So if I have a wealth of breaths, wow, now I can hear people approaching me, I can sense people around me, smells are more intense, colors around me start to glow with a certain aura, a certain precision. It's a very, I was gonna say colorful, but it's a very vivid and beautiful magic system to read about and to just be lost in. One of the powers with breaths is that people can awaken objects. It's straight up some sort of like, what's his name? It's straight up like Doctor Strange's cape. So if you awaken something with your breath, you give it a command and it kind of does what you want. For example, if I have a rope, I awaken it and I tell it to do something, so I can throw it at an enemy and say grab things, and it kind of wraps around people. The first introduction of this is you meet a character who's in jail and he needs to escape his cell. And what he does, he makes a little straw man out of like little bits of hay he's found on the ground, and he whispers to it like find keys, and this like little straw creature like goes out and finds the keys to the cell. And what starts out as such like a playful and like almost Disney-esque kind of magic system gets Brandon Sanderson treatment. Knowing enough to feel like you understand it, but having enough clouded in mystery that you're dying to learn more about it. I hope that rant made some sort of sense to you guys. The magic system is cool. Reason number 4 you should read Warbreaker is the incredible characters. Our 3 main characters, I would say, are Vivenna, who is the sister who was trained her whole life to marry the God King. We have Ciri, who is the inexperienced daughter sent to marry the God King. And we have Lightsong. Lightsong is a god that lives in the palace of the gods within the city. There are a handful of gods, maybe a bit over a dozen, somewhere around there. Over 10, under 20. Somewhere in there. The gods are regular people that have been returned. They've been brought back to life somehow, but they have no memory of how they are brought back to life. They have about 5,000 breaths, I believe, within them. To continue staying alive, each week they have to have the breath of a child given to them to sustain them. Basically, these gods live in complete luxury, but they are worshipped and loved by the people. Because they have so much breath, they're expected at some point in their life to sacrifice themselves to save, a regular person. So a person might plead to them, please save my family, my daughter's dying, I've lost my leg, I've lost my job. The gods have to hear all these pleas. If they say, yes, I'll help you and give you my breath, they sacrifice themselves and die. At this point of the story, all the good gods have done that. They've sacrificed themselves, take my breath, I'm going to help you, and they've all died. All we have left are a bunch of gods that kind of are like, dude, I don't want to sacrifice myself. I want to keep being a god. I don't know if it's just me, but I found this to be such an interesting concept. And Lightsong, the god you are getting the point of view chapters from, is so cool because not only that he wants to, stay alive, he actually doesn't believe in the religion he's a part of. He doesn't believe he's a god. He kind of thinks it's like a big scam and people shouldn't be worshipping him. And as soon as I started reading about this, I'm like, this is such an interesting concept to read about, a god that doesn't believe in his religion or himself. What made it better for me was he's such a witty pain in the butt character in a way that I really, really enjoy. I can understand how maybe how he is could grate on some people. If you have read the Stormlight Archive, imagine Wit being one of the main characters. I had no problem with that, and Lightsong was a fantastic character to get lost with. For our other main 2 characters, Vivenna and Ciri, I love seeing the contrast between their 2 lives and how they're both experiencing things that are occurring in the story. It's quite hard to tell you more than that without getting into spoiler territory. One other character I should mention is Vasha. Vasha has a very interesting sword. His sword is kind of sentient and is talking to him in his mind during this entire story. It is obsessed with wanting to kill things. If Vasha could just be walking around and there'll be 2 guards and the sword would be like, come on man, let's kill him, let's get him. We have to do this right now. I'll leave you there with that. There is so much I cannot tell you about this story, but Stormlight Archive fans will start to be getting clues about some of the connections already. Alright, let's move on to reason number 5 I believe you should read Warbreaker. The discussions about religion and worldviews that came up. I want to assure you that it's not preachy, it is not one-sided. It looks at all aspects and all different viewpoints. I think it is a great look at how people who have been raised in one way of thinking or one specific kind of worldview or one closed-in mindset, once they are, unleashed into the world of all these different flavors and ideas and religions and actually seeing gods in person when you believe in one that hasn't been seen, the characters go through incredible moments of questioning their faith and questioning why people believe in what they do, why they act this way, what led them to believe this. It is such a well-rounded view of different ways of looking at religion. and that's a heavy topic, but the book doesn't take any sides, it just examines all aspects of it. In all the Brandon Sanderson books I've read, I really think he does religion so well. I think he's fantastic at exploring how this can make a person question or defend what they believe. And I think that was one of the most interesting parts of this book, 100%. Okay, reason number 6 to read Warbreaker. This might sound a bit strange to say, but the ending. The ending was fantastic. All the plot points, all the things that were building up came to a head in these last 100 or 150 pages or so. And it was glorious. I could not stop turning the pages. I could not stop reading. Brandon Sanderson, man, you've done this to me in every single book you've read. Every single book you've written and every single one of your books I've read, the endings are so well done and they are just so gratifying and exhilarating to read. My jaw was dropped. I cried reading this book and I was genuinely moved by the last events of this story, and I would love you all to experience that, so I'm going to say it. The ending is worth starting the entire book to read. And the 7th and final reason to read Warbreaker is its greater connections to the Cosmere universe. Now, if you're unaware, basically all of Brandon Sanderson's stories take place within one shared universe. Some stories have very loose connections, others have quite strong ones. Warbreaker has a very, very strong connection to the Stormlight Archive from about Words of Radiance onwards, and especially Oathbringer. This book enhanced my understanding of the Stormlight Archive much more, having made a few connections. I would not say it's required to understand the Stormlight Archive at all, but it will enhance your experience of it, and you will definitely notice connections between this world and the Stormlight Archive. I could say more, but I'm going to play it very safe there because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. And those are my 7 reasons why you should definitely read Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Even if you are not in the Cosmere or into Brandon Sanderson's work or haven't even touched any of his books, this is a great starting point. It's a standalone novel with a potential sequel coming. I found it to be such an easy book to read. It was never one where I had to sit down and just like focus and take notes. It was a very enjoyable, relaxing read that had me hooked by the end. The discussions that it brought up were beautiful. The characters were fantastic. And the writing was so strong. It wasn't telling me what I should be understanding. By the actions of the characters, I understood who they were and their motives, and that was the best part. The characters are so well written. Everything is presented to you in a way that you are there to figure it out, and you are there to understand these characters through who they are and what they do. And I think it was just such a great read. I recommend all fantasy fans to pick it up. Go on holiday to this awesome world, enhance your amount of breaths, awaken some objects, and go along for this awesome ride where you are just going to be in a fantastical world with great characters, great discussions, and an ending that will blow your socks off. Read Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Please do it. I'm begging you at this point. Those are my 7 reasons. Thank you everyone who has taken the time to watch this video. I know these long videos, you know, it's a hard sell to watch me gush about a book that you probably have not read, but I really appreciate it if you've made it this far. If you have made it this far, I have other videos on my channel talking about all sorts of books, even more Brandon Sanderson books. Leave a comment, have a chat with me. I'm always keen to meet more people who are into fantasy and into this amazing genre of storytelling. I hope you've all been doing well, and please do subscribe if you would like to see more discussions about Brandon Sanderson's books and fantasy in general. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.